All right, Coach. Obviously, South Carolina had a few days to prep for them. Just what's the overall scouting report, obviously, of the talent that they have?
You could probably tell me yourself, right? That's how good they are. Um, I don't know the last time they lost at home. Maybe December of 20. It's been a long time since anybody's beaten them there. They haven't been beaten this year. They've played everybody they could. Um, Tremendous depth, big size, tall, experience. They know how to win, and we just hope to go in there and just play hard and fight and see what happens.
Coach, I didn't have a chance to look at all the stats, but in that last game, turnovers certainly appeared to be an issue.
Ugh.
To me specifically, it looked like the quality of the passing was to blame. Just curious, how much has that been a point of emphasis this week?
Well, it wasn't just this week. It's been a lot, and it's probably the most frustrating thing in my coaching is just unnecessary turnovers. And I love Alexis Morris. We can't win without her, but she'll be quick to tell you, 9 turnovers. And yet, if you didn't have her in the first half, you may not win that game at A&M because she was scoring the ball. But you got to be stronger with the ball in your hands. You got to make good decisions. You can't have soft passes. But it was frustrating, and it has been frustrating. Bless you.
Coach, obviously no one's going to win a national championship Sunday, but this may be the most hyped game LSU's ever played in the regular season. How have you been dealing with it Simone even was up here for a statue and said, I can't wait till LSU plays South Carolina. So how did they approach it? It doesn't seem like just any other game, but how do they approach it and not make it too big?
We won't allow it to be too big. Now, we love the hype. We love the recognition. I think it's good for women's basketball. It's good for both programs. You win the game, it means nothing. You lose the game, it means nothing. I think the only thing it really does is it gives you a leg up on winning the SEC. There are bigger games for both programs down the road. But you love the sold-out crowd. You love the media attention. The Super Bowl Sunday adds to it. You might gain some fans that wouldn't normally turn on a women's basketball game. And I'm glad that our name, LSU, is a part of this. No matter what happens in the game, it's positive for you in a lot of respects. It's a positive for you in getting the person back in Louisiana to buy a season ticket. It's positive in recruiting. There's more positives than any negative. The only negative is, somebody's going to lose the game, and I don't view that as devastating. I just view that as that's why you play. Somebody wins and somebody loses.
Kim, now there's been a little over a year since you guys played, and I know Dawn came in and said something about Nikki, but has that done anything for a potential rivalry between these two schools? How do you just view just that and kind of what the dynamic is between women's basketball at LSU and South Carolina right now?
I don't view it as a rivalry in any way. No one's on their level. I don't think anybody's a rival to them. They're that good. I think we're just another school in the SEC that's trying to do what they have done. But no, and the comments that Nikki made, you would have to ask her exactly what she meant. I didn't take offense to any of that.
How much is a reflection of what South Carolina is Dawn as a player? The same type of toughness. Just
She's a winner. She won at Virginia. She played for Coach Debbie Ryan. I remember Dawn and Tammy Reese, who's now the head coach at Rhode Island. I just remember those two, and then they had the Burge twins later on, and they just had a good run there at Virginia. And of course, you know her Olympic experiences as a player and as a coach. She's just done it all as a player, and she is just having an unbelievable career now at South Carolina, and has built a program that the entire state of South Carolina is proud of. You sell 18,000 tickets. To me, I think it's their first sellout this year, and I take that as a compliment to us that people want to see us play too. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of South Carolina people screaming in that arena.
Yeah, obviously you need everyone to be on their game. A great game from Morris and stuff. Jasmine Carson, I think, has only scored like combined 10 points the last 3 games. Any thought of maybe inserting like a Poa into the lineup for her ball handling and her free throw shooting and that sort of thing, or you don't want to make any changes at
Well,
this point?
you're just talking about the starting lineup. It doesn't matter who plays at the beginning. It doesn't matter who starts. Poa and Poole and Samaya are getting quality minutes at the right time in the game. I just don't emphasize that your starters are your best 5 people. That's not the way coaches work, and you'll see that with South Carolina. You will see them quickly insert players from the bench. I think I'm saying this right. Either 52 or 54% of their scoring comes from their bench. That's how good they are. Jasmine can shoot the ball, and she's a threat to be guarded out there, whether she misses shots or not. And when you have a threat out there, it opens things up a little bit more for your bigs.
Kim, and speaking of bigs, I'm not asking for like a game plan per se, but do you anticipate Angel getting a lot of possessions defensively against Aaliyah, or how do you guys just sort of plan to?
I think our posts are going to have to guard all their posts. What's going to be very difficult is we're not going to grow to be 6'7" and 6'5" overnight. There's no good cooking down. We have good cooking here, but there's no good cooking that's going to just make them grow. They are relentless on the offensive boards. They can get to balls up here, and it doesn't matter how much you block them out, they're still up here and you're down here. So those rebounds are a big concern. Nobody seems to be able to stop them. I also think their transition game is very good, particularly when Raven is in the game, Johnson. I think they can outlet pass with the best of them down the floor, and so we've got to not only defend them in the half court and keep them off the offensive boards, you got to defend them in transition.
UConn talked about how they were physical against them and banged them around. Talk about in the paint and keeping Angel in check and not getting quick fouls and and getting emotional through what could happen if they do the same with y'all.
You better be physical back. And I hope that we will match their physicality. That's competitors. People think we're too physical. Just go compete, and if they call a foul, figure out how much you're going to be allowed to, do things defensively. But, you want all the players to be on the floor. You don't want anybody to get in foul trouble. You want them to play and hope that it's a good game and one that the fans enjoy. But win or lose, we're getting on that plane and coming back here because we got 4 more games that are just as important.
Yeah, Coach, just what does their backcourt present with Cook, Beal, Hall?
Well, Cook is their leading scorer, and a lot of that, again, I'm basing this off of observation. You would think Aaliyah Boston would be, but they are seeing so many zones and so many sagging man-to-man defenses that it's just tough to get touches in there. So Aaliyah is getting a lot of hers off of the boards and things like that. So a lot of teams are leaving Cook and those perimeter players open. I guess you got to pick your poison, right? And so she's getting a lot more looks, and that's probably why she's their leading scorer. And she's good. She hit big shots here with Henderson last year when it was a tight game. Henderson's now gone, and Cook's kind of their leader out there on the perimeter, and she's going to take you off the dribble. She's going to rebound. She's going to shoot the open three. She's going to get her touches, and she's going to get her shots up.
Hey, Kim, were you hoping for a little more offensive production from Poa by this point in the season? And it seems like she's looking for her shot a little bit more.
Poa can score. If you look at what she did in junior college, she's just trying to facilitate and give her teammates easier shots. I'm good with that. I think she's looking for her shot. She's shooting the three if it's open. She drives a little bit. Sometimes she gets her shot blocked and doesn't need to go in there, amongst the giants. But she's playing confident. And the issue with Poe is I really want her to stay at the point, which means I have to move Alexis to the off guard, and the game dictates really how much of the movement I do of moving Alex to the off guard, and that would allow Poa some more minutes.
Coach, can you speak to the significance of where your program has come to get to this level and something you're trying to build annually? Like, this is not going to be a big game. You have more of them going forward.
Well, I think I've said it best. We're relevant now, but we haven't arrived. What have we done? We've just won basketball games. We've not won championships. We want to build the program to someday we're Final Four year in and year out. Man, we can sneak in there and get some SEC championships. That doesn't happen overnight. Honestly, what we're doing, in a lot of ways, it's ridiculous in a lot of ways, but it's okay. We're not going to apologize for it. We love that the crowds are here. We love that the media attention is here. I would just say we got a jump start is what we did. What helped us get there was the transfer portal.
Obviously, so where does this game fit into that? You said you haven't arrived, but you feel like you're on your way. Where does this game fit in? It seems like you just want it to be. You got Ole Miss, you got South Carolina Sunday, you got Ole Miss on Thursday, and on and on.
We want to. You want to achieve more than people think that you would. We achieved a lot last year. Nobody thought, and when I say people, it's where you're predicted, like your coaches within the league. Where do they think you should finish? We still have a chance this year. We were picked, third? We still have a chance to finish higher than third, whether we win or lose that game Sunday. And if you do those little things, man, those are important little, I call them baby steps. Those are important things that you can sell in recruiting and that you can sell in that locker room that, hey, you're doing more than people think you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, just keep doing little baby steps. And then one day you'll be able to take that big step. And this is fun. It's making y'all work a little harder, but, it's fun.
Coach, the crowd, not only the numbers of 18,000, but it's expected to be highly intense. How do you get your players ready for that? And even like Coach Harper, when she brought Tennessee here, she said, we couldn't communicate, we couldn't hear, those kind of things.
I think it's the acoustics in this place. I don't know what it is, but it really is loud. Some arenas you'll have large crowds. I don't know how loud it is to where you can't communicate. I've played there in 2019. We opened up there. And I don't recall that I couldn't communicate. So we will have signals so that, particularly on the other end, when I need to call stuff offensively in the first half, we will have signals with the hands if he can't hear me. Everybody must repeat what the point guard is saying so that everybody hears it. But yeah, I would imagine it's going to be a great crowd, a home court advantage for them, and fun. I'm glad we can participate.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my question is how fun is it for you? I mean, you are one of the most competitive people I know, and so how much fun is it for you to kind of be in a juicy game like this?
Well, it's fun for you as a coach. Now, the fun part is if you're getting blown out. I've only got how many timeouts? I need some more timeouts here, but listen, The word perspective comes as you get older in coaching. If we get blown out, I'm going to keep perspective. If we lose a barn burner and we have the last shot, perspective. If they hit you, you keep perspective. If we win, you keep perspective. And that's the message to the kids. We're not going to get too high or too low over one game. We're excited that we can be a part of something that's good for basketball. But we're not going to get too high or too low. We know that we are not supposed to win. We know that. Nobody else is beating them. But we're not just going to throw in the white flag. That's just not what competitors do. We're going to give it every effort we can. And if the effort's good enough, great. If it's not good enough, we move on.
How much has the messaging been this week of it's a 40-minute game and whatever happens in the first 10 isn't necessarily the way of the outcome?
Well, we are going to break it down. There are things that I'm going to give them quarter by quarter by quarter. It's a fast-moving game, but we, in building this program to get to the South Carolina status, we have to break it down and give them just tiny little goals through the course of the game. It's too much to explain to all of you, but yes, we address those things in the film room. No, it's just you have to be in the film room to see on the court, okay, if you can do this many times in that first quarter, okay, the end of the first quarter, what's the score? All right, just detailed stuff that you're not going to write about and you're not going to understand it unless you've been, with us the whole season.
You've been a part of so many big games, in your career. I guess my question is, have you seen teams in the past graduate to that next level after experiencing a game like this?
Yes. Now, here's what you hope doesn't happen. So, UConn loses last night. Did they spend all of their energy in that one game? So we only play 8 players. So it's been a long season for all of us. I understood exactly what Gino was saying. He said he just could look at them and they just were spent. I don't know exact words he used, but no matter what happens in that game, you have to now prepare that there's more games to be played against good teams. And so that's where I spend a lot of time preparing for the one in front of us. But no matter what happens, we got to get ready for Ole Miss. Because you don't want anything to become the next one and the next one and the next one. And I don't anticipate that. We're a confident bunch. We know who we are. We don't pretend to be South Carolina. But let's go see what we have to do to reach that South Carolina elite level.
Coach, I understand the naming rights of the court are going before the board tomorrow. Any thoughts on that?
Michael, I don't want to talk about that right now. Let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. But I'll be fair with you. Ask me after all of it settles, and I'll bring Bob Starkey with me, and he can help me because he coached with Dale and he coached with Sue. Any information I give you would be from afar, and it would not be in depth like he could. So at the right time, we'll discuss that, but I would only allow Bob Starkey to be with me because I think he could be fair.
Any more questions?
Sometimes we say simplistic things like they're going to crash on Angel, so the guards have to make shots. But, do you expect – it would seem like they put those 2 or 3 big people down low and not let Angel beat them, and Flage and Alexis are going to have to hit. Do you expect that?
Jock, they're that good. They don't have to send 2 and 3 to Angel. They're that good. No, I don't expect it. If you watch South Carolina play, they're just good at every position, and they don't get rattled. They're just. I was telling my coaching staff this. I said, I had Kalani Brown and I had Lauren Cox, big girls. And I said, when I look at South Carolina and their size, it just reminds me of those bigs that I had together. I don't anticipate South Carolina worrying about Angel Reese. They're too good to send double and triple teams. I don't see that happening.
I know Angel is part of Maryland's team last year, played at Colonial Life Arena. Have you seen her talking to any of the other ladies about just kind of what it's like?
No, Angel just kind of tries to motivate them and challenge them and love them and do a little bit of everything. She just, her big thing is we ought to all give it everything we have. We got to focus. We got to bring it. Yeah, no, now if she's done it, in the locker room privately, talking about it, I don't know, but not anything I have observed on the court. Yeah.